Today, we're taking you with us on a brilliant day trip from Santiago de Compostela all the way out to the edge of Galicia. It's a route packed with coastal views, little villages, dramatic cliffs, and a few surprises we didn't expect. We'll share what it's like visiting Ponte Macera in the morning mist, wandering through the fishing town of Muros, standing at the edge of the Camino at Cape Finisterre, and seeing the wild coastline of Muxia with its huge granite rocks and crashing waves. It's an easy, relaxing day out and a perfect way to see more of this beautiful part of Spain without having to plan a thing. So settle in and come along as we explore the Costa de Morta, one of Galicia's most unforgettable coastal regions. And if you would like to see all the pictures and a map of where we went or a link to the tour, then on the podcast player you're listening on now, in the description, there'll be a link to that. So please enjoy episode 139. Good afternoon, Lyle. How are you today?
Muy bien, muy bien.
As I said in the intro, we are taking you on a really cool day trip. Now, this one we left from Santiago and we headed west to the coast of death, didn't we? And,
Yes, we did.
We got to tell you about all the stops along the way. And I think, well, I was going to say my favourite, but I think I love this first stop because it is so unique. When we left Santiago, it was a bit cloudy, and when we got to Ponte Macera, it was misty, and you know how like the sun out for photos. But you got out of the bus, the little bus we're on, there was this beautiful, the Tabre River, and this beautiful ancient rock bridge over the top with the arches, and the river and little rapids are running underneath it. And the longer we were there, the more the mist lifted, and you could make out more of the river and more of the little stone buildings on the side. It was so beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a bit of history about the bridge there too that we walked across over the river, yeah?
Yep. It's located just a few kilometres from Santiago de Compostela, making it a significant point on the pilgrimage to Finisterre. The centrepiece is a medieval stone bridge reconstructed in the 13th century on the pillars of a previous Roman bridge spanning the Tabre River. A legend says it collapsed after the disciples of St. James escaped across it to prevent their pursuers crossing. The village itself is a beautiful example of traditional Galician rural architecture featuring stone houses, old mills, and crosses.
Really nice, wasn't it? And
it's just superb. Like, it's hard to explain how, what's the word? How attractive,
atmospheric.
It just had this calmness about it, and there was this one lone fisherman on the edge of the river there, and he just took absolutely notice of anybody. He was just doing his thing, but it just enhanced the experience.
We had a bit of time that we could go over the bridge, and then you could go down sort of under the bridge onto the edge of the river. And there were big flat rocks that you could jump on and get to where the fisherman was. But there was also the watermill there, stones.
And as you went further down, you actually got on those big stones.
Yes.
It was a really good area to take pictures of the bridge.
Yeah, it was, and we had plenty of time to do that, which was really nice. And as I said, as the mist lifted up, it was, and the sound of the water too, it was just beautiful, wasn't it? Yeah, like I just loved that first stop. I've just got so many beautiful photos of that. And it was hard to choose the best ones for the web page. So if you want to have a look at any of the photos of the places we go, this is episode 139, and the link to that web page will be in the podcast description on the player you're listening on. So then we took off on our bus and to Muxia, but on the way we were chatting, weren't we? And I'm saying to Lyle, what are these gum trees? Eucalyptus, but we call them gum trees. And funnily enough, the tour guide started to tell us about the gum trees and how did they get there and why were they there?
Basically, they were bought by missionaries in the 19th century.
Yeah.
And they were very, very popular for the timber industry and also paper pulp.
They grow quickly.
They grow really quickly. Now, the guy did explain the problem with them, which is exactly the same problem with them in Australia, is they burn really quickly.
Good fuel for fire.
And that's because of the high oil content in their sap. But basically, the governments push the fact that to grow these plantations, because obviously from an economic
Industry.
point of view, it's a bonus, it's a plus.
So it was a nice, made me feel like I was at home driving along that highway. And then we went from the little town with the bridge through the gum trees to the coast.
Yeah.
We ended up in Muxia. Yes.
After Ponta Macera, we travelled to Muxia, a rugged fishing town on the Costa de Morte.
The coast of death. Dun, 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 dun.
Known for its
I've been practicing that all morning.
Known for its dramatic coastal scenery, magic stones, and its role as the final destination for the Camino de Santiago pilgrims. Its most famous landmark is the sanctuary of Santa Maria de la Barca, which is perched on a rocky promontory by the sea.
So that means of the boat, and it's a fascinating little chapel because it has all sorts of model boats, and as you mentioned to me earlier, the submarine that I'd forgotten about, and nets and oars and things. So yeah, it's dedicated to everything to do with ships, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I guess that's because there were lots of shipwrecks.
Sure, and obviously the main industry is also fishing. So
yes.
Now, unique large stones near the sanctuary are steeped in local legend, often associated with the story of the Virgin Mary's arrival by stone boat to encourage the apostles St. James as he was preaching in Galicia. The stones near the sanctuary of Our Lady of the Boat are considered to be the remains of the stone boat. The hull, the sail, and the rudder, and now these are all individual stones which have obviously Spanish names. These stones are considered miraculous, with traditions suggesting they have healing properties such as relieving back pain if you crawl under the sail stone 9 times.
We went down and had a look at that, didn't we? It's like an arch.
Yeah.
And you, well, not a very big arch. Just when you said, did you say crawl through?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, that's what you have to do. Maybe on your stomach, or at least on your hands and knees to get through that. Which if you already got a bad back, I don't know that's going to.
Yeah, it may not help. But interestingly enough, notice it's 9 times.
Yeah.
Again, and remember in the last podcast we talked about
9 months.
Yeah, the fact that the virgins have to go into the water and they have to have the waves come over their tummies 9 times for them to be impregnated. So
this is a nice little spot. There's the chapel, as we said. There's those rocks that you can go out on as well, and there's like a little headland with a lighthouse on it. And then up from the chapel, there's a big monument up there. So it's not that far up, but it's worth going up there because the views from up there are just amazing. And the day we were there, the mist had all gone. Obviously, the clouds on the sky was so blue and had the gorgeous fluffy clouds and the blue water. It was a really beautiful spot. No, I don't know. I just felt really close to nature there or something. It was I really.
So you got plenty of good photos of that.
Yeah, it's on there. Click the link in the description. Yeah.
Now the church at the sanctuary of Our Lady of the Boat is a Baroque-style temple built in 1719. Inside, as you said, model ships are often hung from the ceiling as offerings, a tradition connected to seafaring history of the area.
Yes. Now, the next stop on our trip, I really enjoyed this. It's called the Cabo Fisteria. Yeah, Fisteria.
Well, there's the Fisteria is the
little township.
Yeah, well, that's the Galician pronunciation.
Right.
The Spanish is Finisterre.
Okay, and this is what the Spanish thought, or the Romans actually thought, was called the end of the earth.
Correct.
They thought it was the most western part, but it actually isn't. But at the time, they thought it was. And this is also where the Santiago de Compostela, it is the marker, which has 0.00. It's the end of it, isn't it?
That's
the
right.
actual end. Because when you're around Spain, you often see the little
conchas.
Yeah, the shells, but also like the markers on the way, and they'll have a little bit 292 kilometres, whatever it is. But this one is the 000. I've got a photo of us standing there like we've walked the damn thing, but we haven't. But that I really enjoy that because I've seen a couple of movies where they've actually gone on. A lot of people finish in Santiago, but then others do this. I think it's about 100 kilometres extra to get to this to the end of it.
Correct.
Yeah, and also on this headland at the end of the world, and we were so lucky. The day we were there, Perfect weather. It was so calm.
Lucky Island land.
The water was just smooth, like mirror, wasn't it? Can I just imagine on those rough days with the Atlantic winds and boats being blown up against those rocks? It was so rugged. There is a lighthouse there as well.
Yep.
And then there's a cross, which a lot of people go down to after they've walked the Camino. And we got some photos down to that big stone cross as well.
Yeah, once upon a time, the people that had finished their pilgrimage used to burn their clothes and their boots and photos and
down
all
there
that
at the
stuff
cross.
down there at the cross. But that now the local authority try to limit that.
Okay.
But yeah, look, it's just a beautiful place.
We had plenty of time to wander around the headland and go down around the lighthouse on the rocks and go around the other side of the headland and have a nice view back that way as well. It really was impressive. I enjoyed that.
Now, although we were there during the day, they do say that the sunsets from that particular
I can imagine
cliff edge are spectacular. Yeah. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The Ledgery Lighthouse was constructed in the year 1853. The cape on which the beacon stands is approximately 241 metres high. The lighthouse granite tower is 17 metres or 56 feet in height and has a nautical range of 23 nautical miles or 43 kilometres or 26 miles. The Costa de Morta
the Death Coast.
Yeah, that's the Death. You're right. The Death Coast is named for the high number of shipwrecks that occurred along its treacherous rock shores due to the strong Atlantic currents and frequent storms. Known as one of the most perilous coastlines in the world. Yeah. It's
part of history. It's part of
like when you think about it, back in the day, as you say, in the Roman days, this was thought to be the end of the earth.
Yeah. And as I said, it was so calm when we were there, but can you imagine the currents and the winds and the storms smashing up against those rocks? You can see how ships are.
Oh, that'd be a nightmare.
That was a great stop. We love that. And I know we love everything, but that's pretty
unique.
Unique, but symbolic of Galicia as well.
Oh, and Santiago de Compostela. Exactly, for sure.
But then it was time to have a little bit of lunch, wasn't it?
Yes.
So we went into the little town, and that was nice because we pulled up the bus near the fish market, and there was a plaza with maybe a dozen little restaurants all around, and they basically said any of them they sell mostly the same stuff. Any of them are going to be good. So we were chatting to the other English speakers, and we went and sat with them and had some really nice seafood and lovely white Galician wine, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, I think we had, if I remember, and I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but we had like a scallop ravioli, and it was spectacular.
Yeah, it was a nice little spot. It was getting quite warm. We didn't explore there much but we were right on the water, and it was just a beautiful view. And we had plenty of time just to sit and relax and enjoy our lunch, which one of the things about this tour is that we saw a lot, but none of it was rushed or I felt like we didn't have enough time.
Well, the tour started at 9 a.m. and they got us back to town, to Santiago. I think it was about 6:30.
Okay. So after that, we went to, and there's a couple of other people on the tour. They got off here because they were meeting family. They were Aussies, but they were meeting Galician family.
That's right.
A father and daughter. And he was disappointed because he wanted to go to the next stop, which was the Cascada da Azaro, so a waterfall.
Correct. Basically. The waterfall is at the mouth of the Jalas River in the town of Azaro within the municipality of Dumbria, Galicia, on the Costa de Morta.
Death Coast.
Leanne. Yeah, it was funny the first time.
I know, but I've got to keep doing it now.
It is the only river in continental Europe that flows directly into the sea via a waterfall. It reaches about 40 metres in height, especially after heavy rainfall. The area is surrounded by cliffs and lush vegetation with a path that leads to the base of the falls.
So we were, once again, got off our bus and probably 500 metres, 800 metre walk along the edge of the river. as you were saying, to the base of the waterfall, and beautiful big waterfall, great big rocks sort of jutting out of the river, weren't they? And
Yep.
there were people on kayaks and things, so you can actually do that if you want to do a bit more than just walking around there. Also there, which actually back to where we were before, the lighthouse and the Camino, the end, there is a restaurant and bar there and a couple of smaller cafes as well. So it's quite a nice spot to grab a coffee there.
Oh, yeah.
But here too, at the waterfall, there was a collection of small cafes and things where you could grab a cold drink if you want to. And there was
Service station, I thought.
there was
And public toilets.
Public toilets, yes, and they were great, clean, and really really good sort of nick. So that was a nice little walk along there. It was quiet. That it was only us, the people from the bus there. They were doing up the walkway a little bit, and we weren't able to go on, I think, the high one, but we could go down the bottom. But it's a beautiful timber walkway that you safe on, and you go right up close to the waterfall and get some beautiful views of that. There's a bit of history about the mountain area and stuff around. It's like a Celtic sort of site, isn't it?
You're just leading me in there, aren't you? How good are you, Leonita? It is situated at the foot of Mount Pindo, known as the Celtic Olympus, due to its historical and mythological significance, because ancient Galician Celts considered it a sacred place where they worshipped their gods and performed rituals. Legends associated with the mountain include its role as the mystical home for gods and giants, the burial place of Queen Lupa, and the location of specific fertility beds, rocks where couples sought to conceive children. The mountain's unusual granite formations carved by erosion are often imagined as figures of people and animals, further fueling its mystical reputation. Queen Lupa is a legendary figure from Galician mythology, known for her role in the legend of translation of the body of the Apostle James, where she initially tried to hinder his disciples before converting to Christianity. After witnessing miracles. According to the legend, Queen Lupa was a pagan ruler who was asked by the disciples of Apostle James for help in burying his body in Galicia. She tried to trick them by sending them to capture wild bulls and face a dragon. But the disciples' faith tamed the beasts and defeated the dragon. So
wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
it's a bit of a myth, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there's a few of those.
But it was good, wasn't it?
But again, the birthing stones.
Cool.
Yeah. So
we've gone from a beautiful, misty Roman bridge to the rugged coast and that little boat chapel to the headland with where the Camino finishes, and then now to the waterfall.
Yeah, there is definitely a water theme.
But it's a huge variety.
This particular tour.
What I'm saying. There's a lot to see. And
true.
As I said, on the website, there's a link in the description. I've put a map in there with all these places marked if you want to go and have a look at that. And the photos, obviously, I've got some nice ones of the waterfall. But then we went on to a little place, Carnota.
See.
And we just sort of pulled up. We weren't there for very long. And that was we talked about these in the previous podcast as well. That was to show us an Oreo, which is spelt with a H, but it's not pronounced. And it's like pronounced the same as the biscuits, Oreo. That's the only reason I remember it.
So it's HORREO.
Yeah, but Oreo. So we went there to see the Oreo de Carnota, which is the longest in Spain, I believe, at something like 30-something metres, isn't it?
34.
And I've got a photo of that. It just stretches on. And if you haven't listened to the previous podcast, a Oreo is a ancient grain storage building.
Built in stone.
Built in Baroque style. It's up on stone piers. It's narrow. They're mostly 1.5 meters wide, maybe, and got a pitch or roof on them. Most of them are like maybe 1, 2, 3 meters long, the ones that people have in their backyards and things. But this one is 34 meters long, which is really big. So it's worth stopping and having a look at that. And there were other Oreos around as well, and there was a really beautiful chapel as well there. So we went down these stairs to have a look at that. It was only, as I said, a quick stop, but a really interesting one.
Yeah, it was actually that whole driveway is along the coastline, and there's the beach there, which is obviously Canora Playa. That was absolutely stunning. I think it's 7 kilometers long.
Sand, beautiful
white sand beach, just absolutely fabulous.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that that whole area is just.
We didn't see anything that wasn't look nice.
Yeah, and then you've got all the rias that come into the coast, and it's just glorious. Now the next place we went to.
This was the last stop of the day.
So it's
a little fishing village, wasn't it?
It's a 12th century major fishing port.
Oh,
Muros is one of the best preserved old towns on the coast. Declared a historical artistic site in 1970, its traditional architecture is characterised by arcaded granite houses, narrow streets, and colonnades. The waterfront promenade is a popular feature, as is the statue of Abuela, which symbolises the waiting of the families for the sailors. Key landmark is the Church of Santa Maria del Campo, which is now dedicated to San Pedro. The Church of Santa Maria is a Romanesque church known for its semicircular apses, barrel vault roof, and numerous arches. The original 3 names were partly destroyed and later converted into chapels. One of the more unique and interesting elements of the church is the holy water font. Inside is a serpent, which is dominated by the holy water, symbolising triumph of good over evil. Every Friday of Lent, it is customary to go up the holy stairs on your knees, praying as an act of devotion to relive the passion of Christ and ensure forgiveness from sin.
No, I'm just going to say I had trouble walking up those stairs, let alone going on my knees. I've got a photo actually from the bottom of the stairs up to that cathedral.
It is a big staircase.
Yeah, it's huge. And we had a little
I probably should know how many steps, but I didn't look.
We had a little tour of that. Our guide, took us up there and told us all about that when we were there, which was really nice. And then we had free time to then go and find somewhere to have something to eat or drink if we wanted.
I think we had ice cream, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, but it was a beautiful little, as you said, old town, but it was also a marina, and we had a nice little view out this window over these beautiful little fishing boats bobbing up and down in the water. And then sort of up around from the marina, I got some really lovely photos. There was a beach area there, and it was just, the water was like greeny blue, not a big beach, but really calm. It was really beautiful. It's just a stunning little town. And they were setting up for some sort of festival when we were there.
That's right. Yeah.
So there was a lot happening, and we were told to be back at the bus at a certain time. A couple of the girls decided they were going to have a cold drink, and we're a bit late back.
Oh, that's right.
It's always the way, isn't it?
That's right.
But it was a really nice way to finish the day, and I think everyone just left on the way home just feeling like they've had a spectacular day and seen some amazing things. Yeah.
And both the tours, we don't like saying how much the tours are because prices can change. But both those tours, this one and the last one, they were really affordable.
Yeah, they were well,
and they were all day,
and they were under $100 Australian
each.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty good. So there's a link to this tour that we did. You can have a look at the itinerary there in the web page. So, and also to the previous one, episode 138, I've put a link to the actual tour that we did. So you can go and have a look at that if you're interested. If you know anyone going to Santiago, highly recommend this because you see a part of Galicia that not many people get to see.
And on both tours, there was limited tourism.
At the end of the Camino, there was plenty of, time to get down onto the rocks and the cross and the Camino marker and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so really, for me, both these day tours and the actual old town of Santiago de Compostela, it was fabulous.
Fabulous. All right then. Anything else you want to add before you get the question?
Oh.
Where was your favourite place to have a wine?
Oh, I can't
We
think
didn't
of
have
it.
that many wines, but on this day trip, what would you recommend?
Oh, on this day trip.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, mate.
Oh, when we had lunch,
Yeah.
over lunch.
So
Yeah.
in the little village near the
Finisterre.
fish market. Yeah. Okay.
Finisterre Pueblo.
Okay. And I would say probably the same. However, if we had more time in Pueblo de Muros, other than ice cream, I would have had a nice glass of wine there too.
Yeah.
It's, beautiful spot. So, as I said, in the podcast player you're listening on, in the description, there'll be a link to the webpage of this episode with all the photos of the bridge, the rocks, the beaches, the lighthouses, the end of the Camino, the waterfall, the biggest Oreo, like all the stuff is in there, and a map which shows you where they all are too. So we're off somewhere else in Spain in our next episode.
See.
And so until then, it's goodbye from me.
Adios, amigos.